Dear students of 10A and 10B, welcome to my civics class. The points as mentioned in the board, I shall teach you about advisory jurisdiction, revisory jurisdiction, judicial review, interpretation of the Constitution. First point, advisory jurisdiction. What is advisory jurisdiction? You know, the Supreme Court has, the President may seek the Supreme Court's opinion or advice on matters of law. But the Supreme Court's advice or opinion is not binding on the President. The Supreme Court has the Supreme Court has advisory jurisdiction, means giving opinion or advices on any question of law or fact of public importance, as may be referred to it for consideration by the President of India. That means the President may seek the advice and opinion of the Supreme Court, and at the same time the advice and opinion of the Supreme Court is not binding on the President. That means the President may take the advice, may not take it. For the satisfaction of himself, the President may seek the advice of the Supreme Court on any question of law or any question of public importance. The Supreme Court, the President is in a fix, is unable to take any decision regarding the question of law. The President can seek the advice or opinion of the Supreme Court. But the thing is, the President finally decides whether the advice, whether the opinion given to him by the Supreme Court should be taken. In that case, the President may change his decision. If the matter goes to be complicated, the Supreme Court, under the advice and opinion of the Supreme Court, the President may change his decision. But the advice or opinion of the Supreme Court is not binding on the President. The Supreme Court may be required to express its opinion in two particular classes of matters. Number one, in two classes of matters. Number one, when any question of law, suppose any question of law may be referred to as Supreme Court, if the President considers that the question of public importance and it's necessary to obtain the opinion of the Supreme Court. Suppose any matter of discussion the President considers to be discussed with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, or the matter the Supreme Court, the President should seek the advice of the Supreme Court, opinion of the Supreme Court. In that case, the President can do it. Whenever the matter will become a matter of public importance, whenever the matter will be associated with interpretation of the Constitution, in that case, the President may seek the advice or opinion of the Supreme Court. Number 2, disputes arising out of pre-constitution, treaties and agreements which are excluded from original jurisdiction by Article 131. Under Article number 131 of the Constitution of India, some treaties and agreements of the pre-constitution, some treaties and agreements which were made by the British during British period, the treaties and agreements which were signed between the princely states and the British, or between the between the British government and Indian leaders, the treaties and agreements which were signed, these treaties and agreements are known as pre-constitution treaties and agreements. Suppose any law of question arised regarding pre-constitutional treaties, in that case the President may seek advice or opinion of the Supreme Court before taking any decision. The President may seek advice and opinion of the Supreme Court, but the advice and opinion of the Supreme Court is not binding on the President. That is also an option and a system of the Constitution of India for the President. Now, revisory jurisdiction. What is revisory jurisdiction? Revisory jurisdiction. Next point, revisory jurisdiction. The President, the Supreme Court under Article number 137, the Supreme Court under Article number 137 is empowered to review any judgment or order made by it with a view to removing any mistake or error that might have crept in the judgment or order. This is because of the Supreme Court is a court of record and its decision are of evidentiary value and cannot be constrained in any court. The Supreme Court has the revisory jurisdiction. Some cases and the judicial procedure which was done by the lower courts, the Supreme Court has authority to revise the cases. Suppose the cases which are solved, in the high courts or subordinate courts, the cases came from subordinate courts to the high courts, and finally high court gave its verdict, but the lawyer could not satisfied with the verdict of the high courts, made an appeal in the form of appellate jurisdiction for the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court would have revisory jurisdiction. In that case, the Supreme Court can revise the cases. In order to revise the cases, the Supreme Court can grant the cases for reconsideration. So in that case, the person or the lawyer on behalf of his client can make an appeal to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court can consider this to be a matter of revisory jurisdiction. This is because the Supreme Court is a court of record. All the evidences are kept in the Supreme Court. All the evidences are preserved in the Supreme Court, and its decision are of important values. No one has any authority, no one has any power to criticize the decision of the Supreme Court. The decision of the Supreme Court is final. no one can challenge it, no one can, criticize it. Even the matter cannot be discussed in the Houses of Parliament regarding the verdict of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. No one can criticize it, no one can challenge it. So the decision and the verdict given by the Supreme Court is final. That's why it is said that the Supreme Court has the revisory jurisdiction in order to review the cases, whether the cases were executed as per the laws of the Constitution, as per the articles of the Constitution, as per the requirement of the cases, in resemblance with the need of the Constitution and constitutional articles. The cases were executed. So, in order to make sure the Supreme Court can consider this to be its revisory jurisdiction and can review the cases. And it is because the Supreme Court is a court of record, and all records, all evidences of each and every cases are preserved in the Supreme Court, and no one can make any question against the system of judgment of the Supreme Court. And next one, judicial review. Next point, judicial review. What is judicial review, my dear students? The Supreme Court is the interpreter of the Constitution and its decision is final. The Supreme Court is the interpreter of the Constitution and its decision is final. Any matter of discussion, suppose is appeared before Supreme Court for discussion, the matter is interpretation of the Constitution. Whether the previous courts, suppose High Court, subordinate courts, they interpreted the Constitution properly. They interpreted all the points of the Constitution properly. That's a matter of discussion in the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court is the interpreter of the Constitution and its decision is final. It has the power to review laws passed by the union or state legislatures. The Supreme Court can declare any law null and void. The Supreme Court can declare any law passed by the Parliament null and void if the laws go against the Constitution. In that case, the Supreme Court can declare it null and void. The laws passed by the Parliament, the Supreme Court can declare it. The Supreme Court can declare it null and void. Besides, another point, that is, if it is against the letter and spirit of the Constitution or contravenes and any provisions of the Constitution, if the matter goes against the Constitution or constitutional procedures, if the Supreme Court, in order to make sure whether the laws were duly followed while giving verdict or before giving verdict, whether the interpretation of the Constitution was thoroughly maintained or thoroughly followed by the high courts or subordinate courts. These are the things the Supreme Court, in order to make sure can accept it as revisory jurisdiction and review the cases. This power is referred to as the power of judicial review. This power is known as judicial review of the Supreme Court. Judicial review of the Supreme Court. The minimum number of judges to hear and decide the case involving interpretation of the Constitution shall be 5. So, in order to decide any case involving interpretation of the Constitution, a minimum number of judges are required to be present there. A minimum number of judges required to be present there are 5. Minimum 5 numbers of judges, 5. Minimum 5 judges are required to be present there to hear to hear the involvement of interpretation of the Constitution, to hear the cases of involving interpretation of the Constitution. On hearing the cases regarding interpretation of the Constitution, 5 judges come to a conclusion and decides what to do and what not to do. The Supreme Court has the power to review all national and state laws and executive orders and declare them null and void if they go against the provisions of the Constitution. For example, in the year 1970, the Supreme Court had declared the following acts of Parliament as null and void. Presidential order concerning reorganization of the former princes. The Supreme Court declared null and void in the year 1970. And at the same time, in 1970, Supreme Court had declared another act null and void. What is this? In the year 1969, the central government, nationalized 14 banks. 14 private banks were nationalized. 14 private banks were nationalized by the central government under the Prime Ministership of Mrs. Srimati Indira Gandhi in the year 1969. So this Banking Companies Act of 1969, the Supreme Court held that merit should be sole creation of the admission to the postgraduate and other higher courses in medicine and engineering. The Supreme Court declared null and void. The Supreme Court did not give any decision because there were 5 judges, 5 judges came to a conclusion that the decision of the central government under the Prime Ministership of Mrs. Indira Gandhi was correct. She decided to nationalize 14 private banks. So, in that case, Supreme Court could not interfere the cases because the matter was related to not the interpretation of the Constitution. This is simple matter. This is a matter of public importance. In that case, the law of question is not binding on the president, binding on the prime minister, because this matter was related to public importance. In the interest of public, 14 private banks were nationalized by former Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and hence the Supreme Court could not, although the matter came to the Supreme Court for debates and discussion, but the matter was thoroughly discussed, but Supreme Court could not declare it null and void. Why? Because the matter was related to the public interest. And apart from this, need for judicial review. What was the need for judicial? Another question I was going to discuss, that is, in August 1999, the Supreme Court held that merit should be the sole criterion for admissions to postgraduate and other higher courses in medicine and engineering. Another matter also was discussed, because the president sought to take opinions or advice of the Supreme Court, but later on, in the interest of the public, since it was public this matter was involved in public interest, the Supreme Court could not declare it null and void. What is this? According to merit, any student can compete, any election can sit for according to merit, any meritorious student can sit for any competitive exam for better chance, for better admission, for higher study, and for example, admission to the postgraduate level, admission to the higher courses like in medicine, like in engineering, the person can go through proper channel. In that case, the merit is not a factor, because the merit, everyone has merit. Every student has merit. So each and every student meritorious can sit for any competitive exam, and after having passed successfully the exam, the person can go to study higher education, like higher education for post graduation, higher education of in engineering, higher education of medicine. Any student can go, but in that case the Supreme Court has no authority. The Supreme Court cannot declare any law null and void, because in the year 1999 the special act was passed, Banking Companies Act in the year 1969, and educational law of the Supreme Court, which was passed in the both houses of parliament, in presence of the members of both the houses of parliament. But ultimately this act the Supreme Court could not declare null and void, because it was related to the public importance. It was a matter of public importance. That's why Supreme Court could not declare it null and void. So up to this, my dear students, thank you.